Hey everybody, this is Matt again. I'm going to do a quick video today on the Ruby collect method. This is on the enumerable class, so anything that is enumerable has it. It's a pretty cool method that I think highlights one of the largest strengths that Ruby has over languages like Java that don't really support anything like this quite as easily. So let's get to it. I'm in the Ruby console. If you've installed Ruby, it's just IRB. In fact, I'll just show you. Just do IRB. Yay, there it is. Alright, cool. So what this is, if you're not familiar with it, is basically an environment that Ruby runs in that you can type and enter your code live and get feedback. So we'll just say A is going to be an array of like numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, blah. And as you can see, that's returning the value of A, and then A equals 1, 2, 3, 4. So here's what's cool. So you can say a.collect, and we're going to create a little block here and say a, and basically whatever you do, whatever value you return here gets put in a new array that you can do things with. So let's just say, well, I have these numbers 1 through 4 and I just want to multiply them all by 10 and get the result in an array. In other languages, you may end up with multiple lines of things you had to do. But in Ruby, it's as simple as saying a times 5. I think that's what we said, right? 5. And now look, let's just show a. Our 1, 2, 3, 4 is now 5, 10, 15, 20. So that's a pretty cool feature. A lot of times what you may have is like... this is a slightly, I'm just saying slightly here, it's a slightly more realistic scenario, but let's just say you have B equals John, Mark, Tom. So now it's like it's going to be an array of names, right? So what you can say then is B dot collect. And let's just say you want to get like a bunch of greetings for all of them. Actually, I don't know why I called it that. This is a local variable. If you're not familiar with Ruby closures, what we're doing here is we can call this basically whatever we want. We'll just call it X and say, in this case, we'll add a greeting to it. So we'll say hi, and then plus X, because it's basically B, or what we're doing is we're iterating over every element in the B array and assigning each individual element as we go through to X, and then we're saying hi, and then we're adding X in, right? So now we have an array that comes back to us as hi John, hi Mark, hi Tom. And at first glance, it may seem like, well, I don't really have a reason to use something like that. But in the real world, or if you have experience using Ruby, you end up using a lot of these cool little enumerable methods to do things that in other languages would really take you a lot of time. The Rails console allows you, basically it's like the same thing that IRB does for Ruby, the Rails console does for Rails. So you have access to the entire Ruby on Rails environment from the console, and you end up doing things like this when you want to get, let's just say you want to get a whole bunch of data back and display it in some format for your boss or something like that. Things like this do tend to be pretty helpful, and it's also very helpful in the real world. If you've got to do some kind of comparison between two things, this will let you do that. So really anything can be done, and it's a pretty cool method, so try it out and let me know what you think.